Oh, today's our big day! We're supposed to leave the Fortress of Mirapede! Come on, we've got to go complete the release procedures now!
Please, sign here. This document will be effective immediately.
It's been so long since we've been to the surface. What? Huh?
What's happening? I'm fine, thanks.
Let's go ask the Duke.
Ah, good to see you two. Is there something you wish to see me about?
Yeah, what was with that earthquake just now?
Ah, that. The tremor didn't originate from the seafloor. In fact, it seems it came from the surface. Over the years of serving as the warden here, I have developed a sense for distinguishing between what occurs on the surface and what occurs underwater. Besides, the seal that Monsieur Neuvillette set in place won't fail so easily.
So the fortress is okay?
If you recall our last incident, if there really were a problem, there would be crowds of inmates in a panic right now.
Huh, you've got a point. Okay, seems we need to get back up to the... by the way, do you know what day it is today?
I believe today is this month's pipe cleaning day.
Wait, seriously?
Ah, yes. Have you completed your release papers?
Yep. It's you two. Are you leaving now? That's right! Today is our last day in prison. But now that oh yeah, Paimon feels fond of this place now. Then be sure to come back and visit. I'll miss you.
If you've signed the release papers, then you're free to go.
You're not going to see us off?
I knew you'd ask. All right, sure. Let's go.
Well, you actually agreed. No worries.
Ah, so you do have a polite side, I see.
After being down here for so long, I imagine you must feel like you're lacking companionship. Shall I come along too? Yeah, don't worry, we'll come back to see you.
I hope you won't be here as convicts the next time I see you.
We'll do our best to stay out of trouble. Well, it seems our work in the Fortress of Mirapede is finished. We should probably go report to him now. Next, you're going to see Monsieur Neuvillette?
I'm sure just your regards will do, no?
I believe it would be the polite thing to do.
You're right. I've heard the Palais has been terribly busy these days. Tell him that I hope he hasn't...
Osmanthus whined.
Wait, did I hear that right? Monsieur...
That's right.
No, but why? Technically speaking...
Neuvillette! Sidine! Hey there! What are you two talking about?
Traveler in Paimon, please help. This is completely unprecedented. How can...
Thank you for your concern, but I currently have no... Oh, apologies. I took your question in earnest, but...
So, what is it exactly? It sure sounds serious.
A Melusine named Kiara received a threat letter.
And then?
That is all the information I have.
Huh?
I have no idea why you're so hung up over this. I've checked the schedule in advance, and it seems like there aren't any trials.
Thank you for understanding. I will leave a note explaining my... She may have no interest in official affairs, but standard...
Yes, understood.
Judging from Sidine's reaction, it must be pretty rare for you to...
I cannot tell you just yet, but there could be complicated conflicts of interest behind all this, so I must eliminate all...
Come on! Stop being so...
It is not my intention to keep you in the dark, but I need some time. Long story short, a little more than 400 years ago, I became the Iudex of Fontaine. There were few people I could trust, but I had two subordinates who were exceptionally trustworthy and capable. Carol, a Melusine, and Vautrin, leader of the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol.
They must have been amazing people to receive such...
Indeed. Unfortunately, I wasn't able. The reforms damaged the interests of some, and the more conservative faction took advantage of Carol's identity. The incident resulted in Carol taking her own life, and Vautrin being exiled. From then on, I've been especially careful when dealing with cases related to Melusines. All Melusines used to live a secluded life away from humans. I granted their wishes when some of them, including Carol, many common folk believe that I share a special bond with the Melusines, and some of them, especially those who hold a grudge against me, exploit that belief. I have nothing against the opinions of others, but the moment it has already happened once.
Even so, why do you... There's the guards, the Maréchaussée Phantom, and the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol.
Based on prior experience, there is a high chance that those who hold hostility to the political system of Fontaine is relatively complex and involved. However, since I am technically an outsider in Fontaine...
Outsider? But aren't you the Chief Justice of Fontaine?
I understand where you are coming from, but there is not necessarily a connection between my responsibilities and how I perceive myself. You know very well about my true identity, and have even met others of my kind in other nations. Even though I was born with a human form, there is a fundamental difference between dragons and humans. Taking on the role of Chief Justice does not make me a part of this community. I have lived in Fontaine for a long time, but I do not belong here.
Yeah, we have nothing to do. Let's team up and round up all the bad guys lurking.
That does not sound like a bad idea.
Oh, Paimon's...
I will write my note of absence right away. Let us go. We should visit Kiara first and try...
So Neuvillette feels like he doesn't truly belong here in Fontaine, but is that really true? feels like he has a kinda skewed perspective on a lot of things. Anyway, let's catch up with him first. Paimon's been thinking. You called yourself a fish out of water, right? But since you're the Hydro Dragon, would a dragon out of water suit you better?
Thank you for your suggestion. I will consider using the more accurate term in private occasions. Please allow me to rephrase. Has a dragon out of water?
Ugh. That sounds kind of weird.
I never thought I'd see him here.
The weather's amazing today.
Kiara,
Monsieur Neuvillette! And you are? Oh, I remember. You're the Traveler and Paimon. Aww, she's adorable! Thanks for the compliment.
I heard from Sidine that you received a threatening letter.
A threatening letter? Oh, right! I remember now. The letter fell through the crack in my door as I was heading out this morning. It said something about catching me, so I thought someone wanted to play hide and seek. But Sidine told me it was a threatening letter, and that I could be in danger. But that's not gonna happen with everyone looking after me, right?
Have you run into any suspicious-looking people recently?
Suspicious-looking people? What counts as suspicious? Ah! Did you think of something? Nope. I don't remember meeting anyone like that.
Do you still have the letter with you? I want you to show me what it says.
Oh, let's see. Found it.
Now then, get lost. If you don't leave the Maréchaussée Phantom, I will come and catch you in person. Don't say I didn't warn you. A simple threat. Neither the handwriting nor the content itself reveals anything about the writer's intentions. We can't rule out that possibility. Since you can't think of anyone suspicious, I will be heading back to the Palais Mermonia to review some official documents. Kiara, you should come with us. It's safer if you stay close by.
Sure! Wait, no. I still have a case to work.
But you are being watched right now.
And that's where we come in to help. We'll stay with Kiara and with us around anyone scheming to hurt. Thank you, Traveler. Big Sis Paimon. Don't worry, your Big Sis Paimon is super strong.
All right. Let us go our separate ways for now. Please take care of Kiara.
We'll take her to a lost place right away. So, Kiara, how old are you? Let me think. 1, 2, 10? I can't remember. But I remember coming to the Court of Fontaine with Carol and Neuvillette. That must have been a long time ago. Carol? Didn't Neuvillette mention her just now? That was more than 400 years ago. Why would Paimon be a big sister to you? My memory isn't that good. But Carol told me I could address others based on how I feel about them. Paimon feels a lot more grown up than me, so you're a big sis. Huh. Paimon sees. Hey, Traveler, did you hear that? Strange. Hey,
Kiara, you're here. Huh? Wait, aren't these two...
Oh, Oh, they're the Traveler and Big Sis Paimon.
I thought so. What brings you here? Did you run into any trouble?
It's not really trouble anymore with that. May I begin inspecting the store as planned?
Of course. Go ahead.
No hazards detected. You've cleared the inspection. Seems like the criminal from that case last month never set foot in here at all. That was quick. What were you inspecting? I took a look around the shop. Neuvillette says that us Melazines have special eyes that can see things people can't. Things like bloodstains. No matter how hard you try to clean them up, we Melazines can see the residual stains for some time.
All right. Now that you're done inspecting, can we have a chat? Hear me out. I'm planning to release an outfit for children next month and wanted to hire you as my model. Is that okay with you?
Of course! Is there anything I need to do?
Please wait a moment while I take your measurements. The sample should be a perfect fit.
Seems like they get along really well. Huh? What are you looking at? Is there really someone watching us? Shh!
Strange. Why isn't he back yet?
Gotcha! Ah! Charlotte, what are you doing here? Oh, wait, don't tell Paimon you're the one who sent Kiara that threatening letter.
Threat letter? What threat letter? This is starting to feel like an interrogation. Okay, I'll be straight with you. I don't know the slightest thing about that threat letter you mentioned. I only wanted to follow Monsieur Neuvillette and request an interview with him.
You want to interview him?
That's right. I'm not the only one, you know. But it's not an easy task to accomplish. The Palais Mermonia rarely accepts appointment requests from us, and we never have the chance to interrupt when the court's in session. So imagine how surprised I was seeing him out on the streets today. It seemed like you were investigating something too. Of course, I'll make sure to turn in my manuscript to him for review. I have my principles, and I'd never publish an article without the consent of all parties involved.
Yeah, we're doing a secret investigation that can't be...
I see. Well, if you say so, I guess in exchange, could you tell me what the threat letter...
All right, then.
What? Someone's targeting a cute little Melazine?
Shh, not so loud.
It just so happens that I did an interview with Kiara. Last month, in fact. It was well received by... I'll ask my colleagues about it. Who knows? We might find something. But I gotta warn you, even if I keep my lips sealed...
Why?
People care a great deal about Monsieur Neuvillette's each and every move. Some may have already realized that something... Anyway, I'll get going now. Watch yourselves, all right?
Well, that was a nice chat.
What do you think? The design looks pretty good, huh?
I think it's great!
Huh. It's very pretty indeed.
Haran! What are you doing here? It seems that you just showed up out of nowhere!
As I passed by the Palais Mermonia, I heard that Neuvillette was investigating a case with you. Technically speaking, he and I are under an employer-employee relationship. It didn't feel right to have my employer personally take on such trivial cases. I happened to have some time at the moment, and came to take a look. I sometimes have my clothes custom-made at this boutique, in any case.
Ah, Neuvillette sure is...
Leave this to me. You should go meet up with Neuvillette.
Okay then, we'll leave Kiara in your hands. How has your work been?
Same as usual. My schedule normally isn't too packed, so I have plenty of time for myself.
Ooh, then shall we go out to play? I've even signed up as a volunteer lifeguard.
Oh, you're back. Is everything all right?
We ran into Cloran. She offered...
That is good to hear. I trust her ability.
We thought so too.
I've been looking over the case records. Specifically, I've come up with two plans. On one hand, I could start with Kiara and track down the group behind all On the other, I could also analyze the conflicting interests of these major cases.
They both sound like pretty solid plans, but can you really finish browsing?
Don't worry. I'm a fast reader when it comes to official documents. After...
We'll help you read through them. We have nothing else to do.
Thank you. I will continue looking through the ones piled up on the desk, but feel free... Have you made any progress?
We skipped through some of them? Oh, there's so many documents.
I would love to answer that question, but the truth is I've never... If memory serves me right, there should be at least 100...
Whoa, that's a lot.
That might be how it seems from another's perspective, but trials and official duties are... There are many documents here. Take a break if you...
You read Paimon.
All right. Let us take a break then.
Even though resting is a part of taking a break, all the silence is making Paimon feel really awkward.
Please pardon my lack of consideration. People rarely come to the Palais Mermonia for matters outside of work. Would you like to have some drinks, perhaps?
Ooh, drinks! Thank you! Paimon wonders what Novelette likes to drink. Oh, maybe he's a fan of really fancy wines. He seems like the type of person who'd own an entire winery. You know, like Diluc. What's inside these glasses? It looks just like water.
An astute observation. It is indeed water.
So it's just plain old water?
What did you think it was?
Since you're the Chief Justice and...
This water is indeed very special. It would not be an overstatement to call it sophisticated.
Huh?
I believe you've already tried Fonta. In fact, there are many other drink factories in Fontaine, including those that specialize in packaging pure drinking water. Said water is sourced from all across Tevat, including Mondstadt's Cider Lake. Here is one of their latest products, water from Sumeru's Apam Woods. If I were to comment on their mouthfeel, the waters of Cider Lake warm the heart. The waters of Chintsa Village have a poignant touch, while one might call the waters of Konda Village... Distinct differences exist between the waters of each area. You will appreciate their intricacies once you taste them carefully.
Really? Let Paimon try!
What do you think? How regrettable. It seems like you still have a long way to go in refining your tastes.
Hey, this doesn't have to do with refining our taste. Paimon's pretty sure most ordinary people can't. Oh, could it be because you're the Hydro Dragon? We are allowed to bring that up, right? Since no one else is around? Oh, Paimon's been wanting to ask this for ages. Sorry. Paimon was just curious.
There's nothing to hide. I was simply organizing my thoughts. I accepted this position because I wanted to seek out answers to questions that have perplexed me.
Questions? Are there really things you can't figure out?
Many, in fact. But the one question that puzzles me the most, in essence, I neither know why I was born in this. I lost many memories from the moment I was born. The primordial sea, for example. I can only... Perhaps the elemental dragons of other nations may have some form of an answer. However, they are
True. Some of them have very...
I have been holding on to these unanswered questions for a long... But there is one thing I've discovered along the way. My emotions easily resonate with those of others. Even my guess would be that there are at least some similarities between humans and myself.
Have you made any progress then?
Perhaps, but I find such progress difficult to describe. That's why I'm quite thankful for this chat.
Are we gonna continue reading?
I wasn't able to find any leads even after browsing through most of the documents. But what?
Water? Do you mean...
That's right. The Fountain of Lucine is where all of Fontaine's waters converge. If there really were an organization attempting to use Melusines against me, perhaps we'll be able to find some new leads by sensing the Hydro...
Why didn't
Perhaps we should go. There shouldn't be too many people near the Fountain of Lucine.
The Palais Mermonia sure is buzzing with activity today.
Halt! Huh? Oh, it's you two.
Excuse me. Would you mind helping me take a look at this report?
I'll be right there. Sorry, I've got my hands full here. You can see yourselves in.
Everyone's so busy.
Hello. You've come at the right time, but you'll have to wait for just a moment, as there are... In the meantime, please, have a seat. If you'd like to have something to drink, let the Melusine outside know.
That's all right. We just ate.
Very well, then.
Let's take a break over there while we wait for him to finish his work.
All right. That should wrap things up for now.
Are you done with your work?
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting. Today should be the day you were released from the Fortress of Meripede. And it appears that you've managed to complete all the release paperwork.
That's right, and we came here to see you right away.
A massive whale.
Do you have any idea what that might be?
Judging from your description, that cannot have occurred in any ordinary water. A whale of that size and shape cannot usually be found in the waters of Tevat.
Immersed in primordial seawater? But how?
Most people wouldn't be capable of entering in the first place. I'm not Yes? What is it?
Ah, right! We asked the Duke and he said it wasn't from underwater.
It turns out that I have just received a report about this particular matter. The source of the tremor was here on the surface near Poisson.
The water levels rose?
Fortunately, the water levels only rose for a short period of time, and have already... If the change in water levels is connected with the leaking primordial seawater, then the situation in Poisson...
Navia should be in Poisson, right? We need to go check...
I would also like to go there as soon as possible, but I'm afraid I can't leave just yet. We must immediately... I'll have to ask you two to go to Poisson first. I'll meet you there to check on the situation once I've...
There's no time to lose! Let's get going!
Please be careful.
We haven't seen a single soul all the way here.
What will I ever do now?
Look, there's someone on the roof.
Just stay put! We're coming up! Watch your balance!
All right. I'm not young anymore.
Oh, he looks pretty sad.
My leg! My leg! How could this have happened?
Just hang in there. Help is on the way. You...
Oh, it's Navia. She's over there. Hey, Navia, are you okay?
You're here.
We heard there was a situation in...
Yes. As you can see, the water level...
Demoiselle! There was a wounded resident next to a building southeast of here. We've already transported him to safety.
He's wounded? How badly?
He fell, so it's probably a broken leg. He's pretty shaken up. When the water level rose, he desperately climbed up to the roof.
He jumped down then. Find the leader of Squad 1 and tell him to take the wounded resident to see a doctor.
Understood. I'll take over his search and rescue mission in the meantime.
All right. You'll be in charge. I'm sorry. Where were we?
The situation in Poisson?
Ah, right. Allow me to explain. A little earlier, we suddenly heard a loud noise. At first, everyone thought that something might have exploded in the waterways. The rushing water seemed a little odd, almost like the unique color of primordial seawater. Everyone on the street who happened to be close to the water didn't have a chance to escape. Those who realized what was happening started to flee in a panic, desperately trying to get to higher ground. Many were injured. The Spina di Rosula initiated rescue operations as quickly as possible, but there have been... The water that flooded the area contained primordial seawater, so the lower level... No one knows if this could happen again. All we can do for now...
How awful. And all of this just came out of nowhere.
It was quite frightening indeed. I only wish that everything that just...
Is there any way we can help, Navia?
Thank you for being so willing to help in a moment of crisis like this. You don't know how much it means to me.
Don't say that, Navia. That's what friends are for.
Demoiselle! We've got a situation here!
I'll be... Sorry. I need to go for now.
And off she goes. Seems it might be a while before she can take a break.
Okay, the wounded are being tended to, and we finished a preliminary head count. More support has just arrived, so I suppose I finally have a moment to focus on my own matters. Of course, we should remain ready for anything. Traveler, Paimon?
Huh? Right now.
Thank you.
Time.
Not a lot of people here, huh?
Well, given the time of day and the whole situation.
Right. That's how things are now.
Navia? Navia, what's wrong?
Sorry. I just... Malus and Silver... They won't ever come back here again. What should I do, Papa?
Huh? What happened to them?
Everyone agreed on the rescue plan, but they were helping evacuate the residents. And they were caught in the seawater.
What should we do?
I've known them for so long. And I know they weren't afraid. But I could at least hold a funeral for my father. And I know where he rests. But as for Malus and Silver, they're just... gone.
Everything looks so clean after it rains. Even the gravestones. I didn't expect that you'd enjoy a glass of red wine in front of Master Callus's grave.
I can understand. Besides, the scenery here isn't half bad.
See, it's not just me. I always want to bring something when...
How could Master ever be upset with you, Demoiselle? Yet the cemetery is the home of those who have passed.
Buying yourself a plot in advance, are you?
No need yet. But when I do, I hope you'll let me be buried beside Master Callus, Demoiselle.
Hey, stop joking around.
I'm quite serious. That way, it'll save us both the trip to see each other whenever you visit your father's grave.
That makes sense. In that case, could I be buried on his other side?
After all, besides you, Demoiselle, the two of us could certainly be considered Master's closest companions, no?
Personally, I believe we fill those shoes just fine.
Why are you bringing this up all of a sudden? Seriously. All right, but I'd really prefer not to talk about this stuff. And what do you mean by saving me a trip? I'd make the journey even if I had to visit you two somewhere else. I'd promised to let them rest in peace here. But here I am breaking that promise. I'm sorry for letting you see me in a mess like this. I don't usually cry, really.
Paimon doesn't know how to help you feel better. But, well, she understands how you feel.
I'd always thought I could make my wishes come true. But now that I think about it, Malus and Silver have helped me so much. But by contrast, I could do nothing for them. I'm so sorry.
You can spend as much time as you need here, Navia. We'll stay with you.
Thank you. Right now, you don't know how much that means. By the way, you can have a look at this. It's a list of victims from the incident that took place here.
Obena, Khan, Burnett, Giverny, Francine, Karina, Daisy Ray, Joinville, Julianne. So, everyone...
It's okay. I know what you're thinking. And the overall outcome indicates that the cost...
Right! Don't think that way, Navia. Malus and Silver were not the price for saving anyone.
You're right. Thank you, Paimon. What you said just now was pretty amazing, actually.
Oh,
Seems you've become more eloquent in the time since we last met.
Okej, que porra é essa, mano?
The knave? What are you doing here?
Is everything going well on your side?
Yes, my people are carrying out the mission according to your request. All the residents of Poisson have been evacuated. As for these supplies, we have everything taken care of. There is no need to worry.
Thank you very much.
Wait, do you two know each other?
We just met recently. Right, Miss Navia?
Usually, I would call this a coincidental thanks to the knave, Spina di Rosula received generous support from the Fatui.
Mutual aid is essential to fostering positive developments. We were already in the area, in any case, so it was nothing. That said, I must say that you're a lot sharper than you let on.
I apologize for all the ways in which I tested you previously. My subordinates have reported that Fatui soldiers have been observing water levels and taking head counts in various locations.
This is nothing to brag about, nor do I intend to. It is simply the way of powerful organization. As I've told this traveler before, I know of the prophecy, and I intend to prevent the impending disaster. Lending your organization a hand was a natural first step in accomplishing that. As such, do not be troubled by this token of our sincerity.
Without your help, there would have been many more casualties. I won't forget your kindness.
Furthermore, I sincerely regret what happened to Malus and Silver.
Don't say that. You and your subordinates did everything you could. As Paimon said, Malus and Silver didn't choose to sacrifice themselves for any specific person. And I've never liked hearing people put it that way. It's like trying to relieve pain by saying some noble-sounding words. But right now,
You're right. I'm sorry for your loss, Miss Navia. Water is life to Fontaine's people, and it also spells disaster.
So, you're one who will try to change fate, then?
Of course. That is why I'm going to Hotel Bouffe de Thé. I still have some things to take care of, and the children need my attention. By the way, Traveler, Paimon, one more thing.
Alright, then we'll just...
That is a clever and useful conversation technique, which I do like to use when necessary. But there's no need today. It would not hurt to have Miss Navia listening in. Traveler, I'm sure you remember that I said we could work together when we had the chance. You and I both know that there may be issues with the Primordial Sea. Previously, it was the... Indeed. Allow me to share the latest intel I've received from the House of the Hearth's During some recent investigations, a child claimed to have discovered some ruins near Poisson. Judging by the dating of the ruins, they may be related to the prophecy, and my people initially came to prepare for ruin exploration. Unexpected.
So that's why the Fatui were already in Poisson.
I wanted to take the children along, but unfortunately, Linny, Lynette, and Fremine... Linny told me that outside of the house, The person they trust most, which is why I want to give you this task. The House of the Hearth's members see each other as family, but Linny, Lynette, and Fremine said that they also see you as such, even though you are not from the house. I'm sure you already understand how earnest they consider their friendship with you to be.
Oh, that somehow makes Paimon feel kinda happy.
The intel I just shared about the ruins could fetch a high price.
Got it! So all we gotta do is go to some
Excuse me, but may I tag along?
You wish to join, Miss Navia?
But are you sure you're up to exploring some room?
Well, I'm sad, yes. But I can't just go back. There's no point in being depressed while we still have a disaster on our hands. As my father's successor, besides, I'm also doing this for myself. I need something...
Since you put it that way, I have no objections. What do you say, traveler? All right. The ruins are to the south of Poisson.
Okay, the three of us will hit...
Time to go. Follow the wind. Who says there aren't benefits to a life of wandering?
Time to go.
Brings a smile to my face.
Time to go.
Gather!
Suffocate! Into the wind!
Silence!
No touching!
Beautiful treasures are a cause for great happiness. Healthy body, healthy mind.
So, are these the ruins the knave was talking about?
They seem to be pretty ancient all.
Let's go in and have a look.
Just be careful.
The campaign begins.
The wind knows it.
Bow your head.
Dada Kundala.
So you have heard of that local legend as well? Excuse me? You're saying that even some members of the Seven don a counterfeit vision before mingling with their people? My apologies. I was just caught off guard by the absurdity of the situation.
With nature.
This place has also been contaminated.
Yeah. And a lot of it, too. A Fontanian would most likely dissolve the moment...
Right! You can't go down if there's primordial seawater. It's too dangerous, and it won't be any help for you. Don't get Paimon wrong. We're not...
No, you're right. I can't do anything in this situation. I'll leave... That complicates things.
In that case, do you want to wait for us here?
The water levels here are unstable, and I'll go together with you. Perhaps we'll find the exit just up ahead.
All right. Come with it. Oh no, it's a dead end! Let's try climbing over from the side.
Demoiselle?
Huh?
Demoiselle, what are you doing here by yourself? Would you be standing here till dark?
Maybe she just wants some time to herself, Malus.
Hmm? Oh.
Yes, it would appear so.
I must be tired.
That's quite possible. However, you were the one.
Oh, right. I nearly forgot. It must have slipped my mind when I dozed off. This is a familiar feeling, yet something's a little strange.
Is something the matter, Demoiselle?
Oh, no. No, I'm fine. I was just trying to recall why we came out for a walk.
Do you remember Mr. Giverny? He'd requested our help before with...
We were headed to see how things were going with him at the moment.
Ah, right. Yes. I remember now.
Oh? Miss Navia. Ah, Mr. Malus. And Mr. Silver, too.
How have you been?
I've been great. Thanks to your help, those bothersome merchants finally realized they were knocking at my door day and night. Even my neighbor, Obina, was getting...
Sometimes force is required to calm someone down.
That's right.
Oh, yes. One moment, I have Miss Navia. These are some flower seeds that I prepared. Please take them. I don't know what we would have done without your help, so...
Did you cultivate them yourself? Thank you so much. I'll certainly take...
Why, we can have as many pots as you'd like, Demoiselle.
Perfect. In that case, we'll swap out some of the decorative plants for some of Mrs. Burnett's flowers.
Very well.
Wait. Something seems to be off here. Excuse me, madam. If I'm not mistaken, your name is Burnett, correct?
That's right. Is something wrong?
No, it's nothing. This is the first time we've ever met. I've heard this name before. Sometime recently, I'm sure of it. And why are there so few people around here? Where did everyone go?
We must mind the time, Demoiselle. We still have important things to attend to today.
Huh? We do? Like what?
Well, now, did you forget?
Miss Navia, here you are. I've been looking for you. Please, come to the Opera House. Your trial is about to begin.
My trial? Wait, why would I need to go to the Opera House?
Yes, she's right, Demoiselle. It's just about time now, so we should get going.
Oh? All right then.
Look, it's Navia! She's here!
and her 2 attendants are with her. Goodness, everyone's finally here.
There sure are a lot of people here to see the trial. And they all seem to be oddly excited about something. Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen. And as for the judge... huh? Where...
Please sit in the defendant's seat. Don't worry, Silver and I shall accompany you.
All right. But are you sure you can stand behind me?
Typically, it wouldn't be allowed, but today is an exception.
Hey, what kind of place do they think this is?
Come on, do they have any idea what they're doing?
Enough with the whispering! Could someone please tell me...
My dear Miss Navia, have you not yet realized what you've done? In that case, allow me to explain. As all here know, you are Master Callus's successor, the head of the Spina di Rasula, someone held in high regard by every soul in Poisson. After you took over the Spina, you treated all of us just like the late Master Callus had. Not only you, but your butler, your subordinates,
Wait a moment.
Yes, correct. Absolutely right. And that is why you stand accused. You have helped so many people get through so many difficulties. You are one with us. We are inseparable. We are one big family, all of us who are from Poisson, inextricably linked. And with you being so important, we couldn't possibly do without you. Therefore, this fair and honorable court shall declare you guilty, and you shall stay here. You will be together with us forever.
Huh? What are you saying? Everything you have said is correct. I have indeed done...
Ah, well, if that's what you think, then...
How wonderful, Miss Navia!
I know all these people. Why are they laughing?
I seem to remember now. Yes.
Wait just a moment. This isn't right!
Malus?
What was that, Mr. Malus? Our conclusion is very clear and unanimous. Let the court judge her now. She's guilty!
Stay here, Navia! You're one of us!
Demoiselle, don't admit guilt. This trial means to keep you here forever.
I wish to exercise my right to defend Our Lady. Mr. Joinville, you only know of Navia's goodness, but...
She was born a free and independent spirit. She has never been tied down...
Her actions cannot serve as proof that she identifies herself as part of any group. Please do not mistake her actions as being otherwise.
Really? As an individual, you say? Don't forget, we are all Fontanians here. This is the nation of justice. The nation... Even if Miss Navia only voluntarily rendered her assistance, that doesn't change the fact that her beautiful soul... Everything is measured here in the nation of Hydro. And in the end, now I speak for everyone. Our opinion is consistent. Navia should stay. We and Navia are one.
And you would call this justice? Preposterous. You are merely jealous that Demoiselle still has a chance to exist as an individual. Have you forgotten how much you all once longed to become?
Do you mean to defy our justice?
If your justice is flawed, then why should we acknowledge it?
As you said, we can also have our own justice. Silver and I shall defend Demoiselle, and that is how we will enforce justice.
My head... It hurts.
Demoiselle!
Silver, it hurts. My head is spinning. I remember now. Everything that seemed odd from the very beginning. Karina, Desiree, Joyville, Jolien, Essen. And Mr. Giverny and Mrs. Burnett, who we met earlier. Even Malus and Silver. I don't want to admit it, but they're all dead.
Don't be afraid, and don't admit guilt. We will protect you to the very end.
Absurd! Who are you to say that she cannot be judged? We are the majority, and in the nation of trials, the majority is absolute justice. Don't let them escape! We shall keep Navia here with us!
Mr. Malus and Mr. Silver, must you be so stubborn? How could the two of you possibly hope to stand against the collective? Do not resist. This judgment is fair and just. Navia belongs to us. After all that happened, she should not be left alone in Poisson.
What are you saying?
No more excuses!
He says we're jealous. Jealous? How could she possibly be an independent individual?
What's with these people?
Who's jealous of her?
She belongs to us!
Miss Navia, she...
Silence!
That's...
Monsieur Neuvillette!
Such commotion is prohibited in the court. The accusations you just presented are nonsense and cannot constitute a proper trial. The court will adjourn for the rest of the day. In this, I shall hear no objections from any unauthorized party.
Our thanks, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Please leave with me, Miss Navia, while there is still time.
But...
Go on now, demoiselle. This is your only chance to leave this place.
Malus.
My apologies. I couldn't resist making one little joke once I realized that this shall be our last goodbye.
Malus... Silver...
Quickly, you must come now.
Goodbye, demoiselle.
Farewell.
No, wait! Just a second!
Navia?
You're awake? Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive, and they were defending...
It looks like you're all right.
Did all the sad feelings cause you to have a nightmare?
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. When I arrived, I found you falling toward the water. You were just about to be dissolved within, but I...
What is it?
I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only for a moment, perhaps even a fraction of a second, but they gave me the chance to retrieve you. Were it not for their intervention, I would not have been able to rescue you before your consciousness dissipated.
Wait, did you say Oceanids? You mean...
Perhaps those 2 Oceanids were the people you saw in your dream.
I always told them that they didn't have to protect me. To think that they'd keep doing so even after death.
Please come with me.
Neuvillette, are you okay?
Oh, I am quite all right. Perhaps there's something we could chat about?
Why do you look so stiff all of a sudden? Oh, Paimon knows. You're the type who...
I merely thought that we should give Navia some time to herself.
Huh? Why didn't you just say so then? Don't you...
I suppose so. Ah, Sigewinne. I hope all is well with her these days. Her work in the Fortress of Meropide has not been too much for her, has it?
No way, don't worry. She's doing fine down there. She's an amazing head nurse.
I see. Well, that is good. I have always worried that...
Oh, and the Duke also says hi. Even though Sigewinne made him do that.
Thank you. I have indeed been busy...
He still doesn't know what to talk about. So, Neuvillette...
Yes, of course.
This isn't going anywhere.
Yes, in fact. I had arranged to meet you in Poisson, but when I arrived, I discovered that the Fatui were helping. Amid my astonishment, I ran into the knave, and we had a chat.
Yeah, we originally planned to meet up with you, but we thought you might still be busy with all those official...
I'm sorry to have kept you all waiting like that. I'm feeling much better now. I guess we should get going again. Will you come with us, Monsieur Neuvillette?
Yes, if you wouldn't mind my company.
All right! Another one joins the party! Let's get going then!
There is no escape! Into the wind!
Silence!
I will have order.
Oh no! Another unstable path! Watch your step!
Clouds high. The birds...
Be sanctified.
Looks like we've reached the end.
This is the place. There should not be any other hidden spaces in the vicinity.
The path sure had some twists and turns, but it turns out that this place isn't actually that big.
Stone slates? It seems like they were put here as an offering. Could we take them down and have a look?
Perhaps we should just leave them be for now.
There are 4 locations in total, but only 3 stone slates. The slate that should be in the first empty spot is missing.
The surrounding walls also show signs of damage.
There's something written below. Let Paimon see. Reason dictates that this nation be destroyed. I shall record the history of its future here in its past. Say what?
It feels like someone left these slates and these words here for a purpose. But does he mean that...
That would fit the circumstances dictated by the prophecy, yes.
There's a person kneeling here. She seems so dedicated.
And is that Lady Farina in the third image? Did the Hydro Archon fall into the water?
And is that a ring of people...
The fourth image. I know this one. This exactly matches the content of the prophecy.
The people will all be dissolved into the waters. And more information should be hidden in these slates, but I fear I cannot easily uncover it.
Don't blame yourself, Monsieur Neuvillette.
Ooh, Paimon's getting the chills just looking at these slates. This says that it's the history of the future, right?
I really...
Still, Paimon feels like these...
That's right! If the images are in chronological order, shouldn't the fourth, the waters drowning Fontaine, come before the third? Where the Hydro Archon herself falls into the water?
And yet the order is reversed here.
If we go by timing, Lady Farina only emerges in the third image. That means that the person in...
Egeria, then. I had never met her, but the previous Archon kneeling before the floating island in the sky.
Did she herself commit that sin? Also, I'm still wondering why these ancient stone slates are here at all. Judging from their contents...
But who would have created these slates?
It seems that any further clues will have to come from Farina.
In that case, there's no time to lose. There's nothing else...
Yeah, we'd better get somewhere safe for now.
Let's split up here. I'm going to check on what's happening with the Spina. You know how it is. There's some things you just need to be there.
You still have energy for that, Navia?
Just head back to the Fleuve Cendre and have a rest then. Thanks for keeping...
I'll depart as well. Thanks for your hard work today. Traveler, I will go talk to Farina tomorrow morning to ask about the stone slates. I'm sure that you're concerned about this matter as well. If you have time, drop by my office. I will share the results.
Are you really going to talk to her about this directly? Will that be...
She has long been harboring secrets, and will not...
All right, we'll leave it in your hands then.
I will be carefully considering my words tonight.
Traveler, Paimon, our safe house at the Fleuve Cendre is always open to you, as ever. All right. I'll be on my way then.
We're finally back!
Welcome back. We've got a special menu prepared for you.
Yay! And there's good food too! Ooh, desserts! Nice! These are all... Paimon's already starting to...
Oh, that voice. Is that who I think it is? It's you two. What are you doing in Fontaine?
seriously, nobody just uses a scry glass whenever they've got time to just see who they'll meet on the road.
Still, we didn't expect to see you here. Wait, you're not a Fontanian.
Well, I have some business to attend to here, so I booked a hotel in the city. I was just out for a stroll when I bumped into you. Quite unexpectedly, if I might add. Why did you think I was from Fontaine, though? Is that because Magistus doesn't sound much like a Mondstadter surname?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Well, I used to have my own surname, which was, well, some other thing. Either way, the old hag told me when she took me as her disciple that the first step to being a great astrologist's pupil was to change that name. There was nothing for it, really. She really is amazing at astrology, so I changed my name to...
It isn't?
Nope. Although it is used by us in place of surname.
Wow! Imagine including a boast in your name.
I reckon so. In any case, I'd give my disciple a name like this as well, if I were Astromancer Barbaloth Trismegistus.
Whoa, that's a long one. Does it also mean great or something?
My name means Mona the Great Astrologist. As for the old hag, hers is, in plain speech, the thrice as great...
Thrice as great? That's so... petty.
I know, right? That's just how she is. She used to call herself Magistus, actually, but when she took me in, she changed her name to Trismegistus.
Talk about excessive.
Magistus is thus the calling card of our school, so to speak, which makes it about the same as a surname. It's all right if you don't get it. You can look...
That sounds terrible! But anyway, you're not Fontanian, are you, Mona? You're from Mondstadt, right?
Well, I was born in Mondstadt, yes. My parents migrated to Dornman Port, and I traveled with the old hag for a while, after which I settled down in Mondstadt City.
Oh, that's a good thing then. At least we know you won't be dissolved by Fontaine's waters.
Speaking of that, I'm sure you're aware that a bunch of things have happened here in Fontaine, right? I know you're not a local, but I'd avoid getting too close to any water that looks strange all the same. There's something ominous about it. Well, the water, I mean. That was the main reason, yes. Just a while back, the Steambird invited. The invitation was sent quite early on.
What do you make of that prophecy, Mona? Just tell us what you think.
What I can tell you is that I'm an astrologist, and that this prophecy concerns... I'm afraid that this is not something that just anyone can do. But on the flip side, the prophecy is so huge and powerful that it must surely come from a powerful...
A visionary? Sounds really powerful.
Of course. The old hag could do it. And I'd bet there are others amongst those Hexenzirkel colleagues of hers who could do something similar. Huh? Are you sure? All right, I'll help you.
Thanks, Mona. You're amazing as always.
Oh, well, this is something only I can do after all. So yes, your praises are quite welcome.
That's the greatest of astrologists for you! Of all the people we know, you know the star's the best!
Indeed, indeed. That's the spirit.
Oh, sorry. I came to see what all the commotion was about. If there's anything you need, do not hesitate to inform the Spina di Rosula.
Oh, whoops. Guess we were getting a little too carried away there. Well, I'll go tend to my own business now. If I receive any news, I'll be sure to come find you two again.
And there she goes, quick as rushing water. And here we are with the Spina guy giving us suspicious looks. Right, but we were able to recruit Mona's help. Good morning. To be honest, I'm still feeling kind of... But it's time to get up, Traveler. We agreed to go see Novelette, so let's pack it up and get going.
Ad Astra. Thank you for complete. Ad Astra.
Ad Astra Abyss.
Water comes in many flavors to the discerning palate. Mondstadt's water is crisp and pure, while water from Leo...
You're here! Finally!
Is something wrong?
Monsieur Neurvalette and Lady Farina, they...
Like I said, I've already explained everything!
And yet the problem has not been properly solved. There is little space for excuses between us. It is not my intention to offend you, but please, tell me where you stand. You are the Hydro Archon Focalor, are you not? Look at this. This is a list of the victims from the recent Poisson incident.
You mean... they're all...
We did not arrive in time to avert this disaster, and I will not have it happen again. I will say this once more. You must tell me everything you know. Yesterday, I found 3 stone slates in some ancient ruins near Poisson. Do you know anything about those?
Seriously? You're questioning me like this is a court case now. I don't... but... you found them in some ancient ruins, you say?
That's correct. Which is why I came to ask you some questions. There should have been 4 slates, but one of them was...
The prophecy?
The second of these slates depicts the previous Hydro Archon Egeria kneeling before a floating island.
I don't! I've never seen such slates!
I'll ask you again. Do you really have no information regarding the previous Archon? My deciphering of the slates indicates that the Hydro Archon Egeria once had to confess to—
All gods don't have the same secrets, you know. She was herself and I'm me. Is it really so strange that I know nothing? I understand your concerns, but I'm sorry. I just don't have anything to tell you.
Forgive me for saying this now, Lady Farina, but I have long known of your various secret investigations into certain matters. There are several indications that you have been investigating the prophecy on— This is not strange in itself, considering that you are the Hydro Archon. You have never been as superficial as you have presented yourself to be, nor are you a fool. And yet, your behavior is very inconsistent.
watching me all this time, have you? I didn't think you were that type.
You...
Well, since you know about my secret investigations, then you should know I'm actually working to take care of it. There's no point questioning or suspecting me. You're the Eudix, but you're still my subordinate. You should be following my lead. Just trust in me. You're Archon, and do as I say. Never mind whether you can truly convince yourself to or not. It'll all turn out fine. That's all I have to say. We do not discuss this matter again. Oh, the opera's about to start. Toodles!
Did Farina not notice us standing by the door? Wonder what's up with her. She was smiling.
I assume you've been outside for a while now?
Oh! You noticed!
She was in a great panic, though I cannot discern the reason. Our discussion reached impasses time and again, a state of affairs that we cannot allow to continue. Still, I do not understand. Dialogue is the basis for Everyone in her inner circle has noticed that she is hiding some secret. The issue is her attitude. I fear that she will not reveal anything unless absolutely forced to. We may have to create a situation in which she will have no choice but to...
Oh? Like what?
Normally, people will only reveal the truth when standing trial. Perhaps we must have the...
But Farina's seen so many trials, and she's really...
We will need to consider this thoroughly, join forces with various... If at all possible, I would prefer to recuse myself from this. This may be cruel to her, but all Fontaine is in crisis. The information a god possesses is too But who will lend us their aid to do such a thing?
Well, that's everyone, huh? Speaking of which, it was pretty smart of you to think of hiding here.
Poisson was just involved in a disaster, so it's presently devoid of people. That naturally makes it the best choice.
And here you are drinking tea like it's the most natural thing in the world, huh?
That's what family should do. Sit and enjoy a
It's nice to enjoy tea here, you know? Care for a cup?
Lend me your ears, everyone. Or perhaps one of you might like to start us off. How about you, friend?
Me? No.
Then, how about you, good sir?
I fear that I will cause the mood on this boat to become as somber as it is in court.
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things. Wonderful, the spotlight at last. I guess I'll be facilitating things from here.
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, our friend here, the Traveler, has brought us together to discuss something. As for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pooling our efforts together to create a series of traps.
Oh, how intriguing.
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just learned from Chlorand, and used on the spot. So...
Huh? Didn't you say that you would be facilitating this?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to practice.
I see. And what does my boss say?
He is glad that you consider him your boss. Do go on.
In that case, do any of you have experience hunting?
Not that I recall.
Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were younger. As for Lynette, oh, right. You were sick that day, weren't you?
I've also gone diving to catch some fish before. Does that count?
I'm afraid not. You may or may not have heard, but Fontaine once played host to a group known as the Marechaussee Hunters. Though that was their name, they did not hunt animals, but rather various monsters left behind by the ancient dynasty of King Remus. Today, Fontaine's monster population has already thinned greatly, so the hunters have blended back into society, taking up arms in other lines of work. They even left a unique methodology of hunting in a trap comprises of the following components: bait, a trigger, and a containment device. Sometimes a lethal implement will also be necessary. So, if we were to build a trap together, right?
For me, I would prefer something basket-shaped. Pigeons and rabbits will see our line of work requires a deft hand, and we're some of the best in the industry.
You used some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson, didn't you? My subordinates mentioned that you even performed some—
Yes, and I even managed to gather some intelligence in the meantime. I'm quite the—
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit. I prefer more stable methods, like placing bait in—
Calm and steady. Exactly the kind of person who would catch loads of fish.
And I can be their assistant.
With discretion, I'm sure.
I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small clockwork squirrels, mice, and I remember that you liked those too, didn't you?
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it. If they're—
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not have any related experience.
That makes sense. You usually solve problems directly, without the— But I do have one more question for you, Monsieur. If we were to create a trap now, how would you design it?
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more gentle trap would be ideal.
Kind, as always. However, our intention doesn't If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also goes for prey that must be captured and safely contained.
Wait, why's that?
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without harming it.
So are we going hunting together?
We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves as hunters.
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, then the hunting metaphor is actually quite accurate. But we shall require much more courage than any hunter to judge a god, a being whose seat is an exalted throne.
Oh, so that's what's going on. Sounds very interesting.
days, hasn't it? So much. Paimon didn't think the meetings would go on for so long. Paimon thought they'd be at least a little frightened. Well, Fremine was, now that Paimon thinks about it, but everyone else just looked a little surprised. Well, it's hard to say. Paimon doesn't have any experience with this sort of thing. After all, you're the most reliable person in the world, aren't you? Did you just pour some tea? Paimon didn't notice you doing that at all. Then what's that? Paimon's never seen that cup before.
Don't be frightened. I'm just joining you two for tea. I merely refrained from saying anything till now.
Who's that voice? But there's no one here.
Aw, have you forgotten me already?
Wait, you are familiar. You're the voice we heard from the sky in Sumeru.
The voice from the sky, I fear that description is wrong. Though, not completely wrong. You're feeling lost now, just as you were feeling previously. I sensed that confusion and thus, consider me a passerby, just accepting a commission from my friend's disciple on a whim. The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. You may view such things as the history of the future.
What? Then is there any way we can stop it?
I believe you have witnessed a failed attempt with your own eyes. Can everything in Teyvat so easily be changed? Ah, so you've caught on. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Are the things that you shall see different from the fate that the gods perceive?
What is she talking about? It all sounds really impressive and important and stuff, but it also sounds kind of scary.
I believe that you understand, right? Some things are insignificant, but others you must reach out to change. Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Teyvat's future. All you need to do is to play your part. This was good tea, by the way. Thank you for your hospitality. Well, that'll be all for today.
The voice. It's gone. Hey, it's you who's getting...
Well, I see I've walked in on some lively band.
Mona!
Fine, just fine. I went to take part in that Steambird panel. It turned out to be more interesting than I expected. Not all Fontanians are pessimistic about this. One journalist mentioned that sitting around...
did she have pink hair?
Why, yes, it was Charlotte. I'm in full support of her view. Prophecies are very important.
That's right! Paimon's glad to hear something sensible for once.
Ah, yes. About what we had discussed before. I did try, but I'm afraid I... Huh? Goodness gracious. Are you serious?
She said that even the god's gaze has blind spots. Pretty bold if you ask Paimon.
The Hexen Circle members are certainly anything but ordinary. As for the mage named N, the old hag has mentioned her a few times. She said that N's sense of direction is incredible, and that she loves guiding those who are lost. But I've never met her, and if she were still alive, she'd be... Well, suffice it to say that the hag's at least a few hundred now, and N's been around for longer than that.
Whoa. The Hexen Circle sounds like a scary group.
But their abilities alone are pretty terrifying. If she came to see you personally, then...
Well, it's not like Paimon could understand anything she said.
Yes, she was quite cryptic, but I suspect she means that there is still a way to turn things around. Perhaps it is something that you cannot know right now. Traveler, Paimon, are you two all right?
Oh, we're fine. We're just a little down right now.
I see. I feel that same sense of desperation, too. I guess you could consider me someone who has often witnessed fate. So far as I have seen it, but even so, I still hope for, and believe in. Perhaps that's what En was trying to tell you. Not to lose heart. I did originally think of steering clear of all this, but I couldn't. Even if this is all futile,
Huh. You do have a point.
There I go, talking about astrological principles again. It was worth trying to comfort you, even if only a little. I suppose that might be why we always seem to meet by coincidence.
Paimon feels kind of moved by what Mona said. Hey, Traveler. Paimon suddenly feels like going outside for a walk. Let's walk around the city, shall we? There's a few spots we always like to walk by.
Follow the wind. A fateful offering. Time to go. Follow the wind.
Huh? Our names are written in this newspaper. Let Paimon see! The underwater stronghold, the Fortress of Meripede, has continued in its My recent attempts to enter the fortress bore little. Thus, did an Outlander friend become the focus of this report. A blinded Frencheur. So while the fortress's interior remains a mystery behind closed, journalist Charlotte's biggest scoop yet: the Traveler's Trail, World Walker. Huh. Charlotte took so many awesome photos of us and we never even noticed her. She hasn't been able to get a hold of anything at the fortress, so since we're easier to find, she's using us as the subject matter instead? Ugh, seriously? Well, fine. Those headlines and photos do look cool, so Paimon...
Time to go.
We're here! Hey, quick! Look! That's the limited edition, only 16 slices a day cake! It was so delicious the last time we tried it, despite the...
One slice of cake, please.
Someone showed up after all! Oh, wait, you're the one from the Palais Mermonia.
Oh, are you here to buy cake too? It seems Monsieur Nervalette was right. You really can eat.
Wait, did he really say something like that?
That's right. Even he has his own preferences when it comes to food. As for me, I love the cake and coffee here.
Do you come here often?
Usually every day.
Every day?
It's part of my daily schedule, apart from work. I shall have my cake and coffee.
Then what if someone told you one day that this place would be closing soon, and you wouldn't get to eat cake here anymore? What would you think?
But why would it close?
Well, Paimon doesn't know either, but...
Oh, the prophecy. To be honest, I haven't paid much attention to that. No, it's the same for eating in general. You might not be able to eat tomorrow, but if you can do so today, then you should carry on. That's what people call living, you know.
Huh.
Don't be sad. Excuse me, could I have 2 more slices of cake to go? These 2 slices are for you. Sijuin said that this kind of expression you're making is what humans call being sad.
Oh, you know Sijuin?
I sure do. She was born before me, and she sometimes comes to... She said that humans are creatures that are saddened easily. Yes, and you can only lift their spirits by feeding them delicious food. I've got something else to do, so I'll be going now. You two try to stay in a good mood after eating, all right? Bye.
And there she goes. All right, let's dig in. Paimon's sure this cake will be delicious. It's more delicious than last time! And the flavor... Sure would be nice if we could always eat delicious food here.
Time to go.
Oh! We're near the Seabird office! Let's go look for Charlotte and have a chat.
Time to go.
Wow! If it isn't the Traveler and Paimon! Oh,
ha! You've got some nerve!
Oh, you needn't worry about that. I heard that you were in Poisson some time back, so I sent you a letter to discuss just that. It's all right, though. I've set aside the amount intended for you. I've even set the table with some food.
Really? Oh, you're the best!
You're almost a little too easy to win over, Paimon. If I were a journalist with ulterior motives, you'd be in trouble now, you know.
Oh, Paimon knows you're not like that.
Still, what brings you here all of a sudden?
A friend of ours met you a while back.
Ah, so you know Miss Mona as well. She's a guest columnist for our paper. So she mentioned me? What did she say?
She said that you're a real daredevil of a journalist.
Nice. In which case, can this
Huh? So your article in the paper today doesn't count?
Oh, of course it doesn't. That was more like live photography. What I'd like to do is dive deeper.
Yeah, are we even qualified enough?
Why not? If I say you're worth an interview, then you're worth it. But not right now, of course. I'll need a few days to prepare.
Oh, in that case, we'll just chat when you have the time.
Oh, so that's a yes? Ooh, splendid! I'll tell the editor-in-chief immediately. Whew, so much to get done now.
Wait, Charlotte, Paimon's still got a question for you.
And what's that?
If, just for example, Fontaine were to be flooded tomorrow, what would you do today?
Huh. That's the prophecy you're talking about, isn't it? I mean, I do hear about it often, but I've never once thought that the day could be tomorrow. If you're seriously asking, then I might try and think of a way to leave Fontaine. Oh, but I'm still a journalist first and foremost. That means I have a duty to be reporting from the scene. And secondly, I wouldn't forsake my homeland that easily. From what I've seen, most people don't know what they'd do should the worst come to pass. So in all likelihood, I'd probably still be prepping at the office for that interview of ours. I know, just think about it. If this nation really were to be suddenly destroyed tomorrow, but I still successfully finish an exclusive and then do you know what I'd do? Well, I'd write that story, send it for printing, and use messenger pigeons to get copies out to the various nations as soon as possible. I'm not a dreamer, nor am I a workaholic, but I do love my job, and I'd be proud of leaving such an article behind. I guess you could say that I was born to be a journalist. But anyway, that's my answer. And on that note, I'll get back to my preparations.
That's so nice. All of a sudden, Paimon actually kinda envies her. Anyway, let's go and take a look at the sea, shall we? The sea breeze and scenery can be a pretty Paimon's been thinking. If it wasn't Fontaine, but all of Tevat that would be destroyed tomorrow. No, Paimon should ask if you could choose. We've always been moving to the next destination, so we haven't spent much time thinking about these kinds of things. You mean, still traveling? Huh. Wait, isn't that what we've always been doing? Feels like it'll grow mold, but it's still better than the Fortress of Mirapede, that's for sure. It's not a-
So the two of you are still here.
Oh, you're from the Palais Mermonia, aren't you?
Yes, I'm Isadora. Monsieur Nervillet sent me to look for you two before. Not at all. I'm well aware that you're friends of his. Actually, I'm here to... Yes, inside the Opera House. The Maréchaussée Phantom has declared the incident a small-scale riot.
A riot?
Well, that said, I don't personally think it was that. Lady Farina was watching a performance at the Opera House, and while she was resting, loudly accusing her of doing nothing about the... And before she could respond, others started to join in. The crowd continued to grow, and protests against the Hydro Archon started to break out.
So people have started to put the blame on Farina. Guess they finally found an outlet for the pressure they've been under due to the prophecy.
I agree. People will naturally rely on gods.
So what happened after that? Is Farina okay?
Seeing that the situation was spiraling out of control and that further argument was pointless, the Maréchaussée Phantom had their hands full maintaining order and did not catch where Lady Farina had gone. Only when...
So, you mean she's...
That's right. The Maréchaussée has dispatched many people to search for her, but we don't have any leads yet. That said, I don't think there's much to worry about. She is a god after all. Even if she were good.
Don't worry, this is more...
Is that so?
Well, sounds like we should hurry over to Poisson then. If we know Farina, she won't try to fix things in this situation. Instead, as we also know, she may be loud and When Nervalet was talking to her in the Palais Mermonia, and she heard about it would be hard for her to ignore being accused by the public today. Paimon thinks Furina's probably taken the opportunity to slip away to Well, what do you think? Paimon knows the answer, of course, but in that case, there's not a moment to lose. This place looks deserted. Guess all the survivors must have evacuated already. All that's left here are signs of devastation. Could Furina really be here? Let's try to find her as soon as possible. Ah, that's Furina, right over there. She really is.
Should I just give up? This is all meaningless. What was meant to happen did happen after all. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Give up, Furina. There's no point in holding out. I'm sorry. But what can I even do other than to repeat me? Who's that?
Don't worry, Furina. It's just us.
So it is you, blonde traveler from another land. Why,
Furina, you were crying just now, weren't you?
What do you mean, tear stains? Who did that uncivilized rabble think they were? Disturbing my enjoyment of the art. They even dare to tout their Archon. I must teach them a lesson. Oh, and I'm sure Nouvellette and those people from the Maréchaussée Phantom are freaking out right next to them, too. Of course not.
Hey, there she is! The Hydro Archon's over there! Quick, after her!
Furina, those people seem to be after you.
They are? They're just some rabid fans who want to cut the line because they haven't been able to meet me in person, aren't they? That's against the rules. I can't let them get their way.
Furina just ran off! Quick, we have to catch up with her! This should be the place, right? Hey, Furina! There's a good hiding spot over here. Quick, come to Paimon before the rest of them catch up to you.
What?
Hurry, they're almost here!
Fine. I suppose haste is warranted. Lead the way.
Paimon's exhausted.
I'm so tired. I totally thought they had caught me. No, I merely gave in to the sheer enthusiasm they displayed. You're right.
Yep, that's a good girl.
What's happening? The ground...
Yeah, a quake of this kind preceded the flooding in Poisson, didn't it?
It can't be. It's happening again.
Well, there's no need to worry too much about that. Nouvellette's made some emergency plans, so...
Yeah, I hope you're right. But the people of Poisson, they've already... It's true. I've been investigating the prophecy for hundreds of years. I once had informants all over Tevat, searching for clues and feeding information back to me. I've tried all kinds of ways, too, to hold back the sea. But all my efforts proved to be futile in the end. Really, the truth has been clear to me for a very long time. We cannot make an enemy of the divine. No matter what we do, the will of the heavenly principles will have its way. Give up. Indeed. I've thought about giving up so many. Fate is really unreasonable, isn't it? It has no heart and obeys no rules. The prophecy has only just started to come true, but just now, it all became clear to me. As long as the final moment hasn't come, it's still not too late. Don't worry. I will keep hope alive for everyone until the very end. Well, that's enough for now. I got the impulse to play the stricken maiden, but honestly, considering my rank and station, that wasn't a good fit at all. Don't take any of what I just said seriously.
Come on! Paimon could have sworn...
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right from the start that this would be my duty alone. A witness. Yes, I've heard. And if Tevat is in its entirety, if that's the case...
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes my opening performance. Now, without further ado, we may proceed to the trial of our god.
So this is what it is. Yes, you deserve praise for the effort you took to raise the dramatic stakes. Do not forget, however, that I am Fosalor, the god of justice, the embodiment of justice itself. Does it not strike you as even the least bit absurd to bring—
May I interpret these words as your In that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your honor through a duel.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your mind.
Paimon can't believe it. She...
What the heck is going on? Did I just see an...
Wow, how utterly humiliating.
Lady Farina, what is the meaning of this?
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding.
Looking for excuses again, huh?
I raised my hands just now to indicate my I will admit that I'm sorry, everyone. You are not the only ones to be disappointed. But now, it is time for the Hydro Archon to show you her courage and resolve. I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world the true meaning of justice. This time, I will protect you. Applaud and rejoice! One of the most outrageous and fantastical arcs known to the opera epiclese is now unfolding before your eyes. Mark my words, This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine! The trial of the Hydro Archon, Focalor, will now begin!
Woohoo! Oh, now we're making history!
Why does it feel like Farina just took over the whole thing? Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic...
All right, then.
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that so? Very well. Then please speak with... Also, please allow me to ask, as a final question before... Just how much work did you...
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula, since they were rather straightforward and easy.
Navia, the president of the Spina di Rosula.
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience members, waiting for the perfect opportunity to incite insurrection against you. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as more and more of the prophecy is fulfilled. Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, we arranged for a second group.
So, you mean... the ones who scout...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may
That's right. That house was a magic box, rather than someone's residence.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used when I first performed at the Opera Epiclese, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson and Areneas, was an Archon instead of a human. My thanks, Farina. Without your help, we could never have pulled off such an extraordinary performance.
You're welcome?
Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. The House of the Hearth spent a massive amount of labor in Mora to pull this off. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig a tunnel, and open up a path through the water. It was a lot of work for all of us.
So, in other words, the earthquake that we felt within the giant magic box...
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess Nervilette and Cloran's parts. You gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duel... Also that as soon as I appeared on the stage, the...
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Cloran, I must commend you for your courage.
Thank you.
As for you, traveler... I suppose you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor once we'd arrived onto... Oh? Is that so? Then I suppose I must have missed my final chance. It's fine. It matters not. What's done is done. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this trial through to the very end.
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass this along. This is a document that Miss Charlotte applied for and received.
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here too! Hey, Charlotte! Oh, let Paimon see. Wait. Then that means this document is a perfect... So in other words, we can refer to this anthology of evidence every time we want to use... Let's quickly confirm the information in it. Just think of it as a refresher, all right?
You defeated the Hydro Archon in the fifth height of the... I didn't think that you'd wind up getting to the bottom of the case I'd been following all this time. I guess you could also see this... You defeated the Hydro Archon in the very first duel you took part in at the Opera House. That's one for the This is the first time Monsieur Neuvillette had a difference of opinion with the Oratrice. The fortress... A Fatui Harbinger. She's an extraordinary person. Her instinct must... The fortress of Meripede was almost destroyed in a single day. That I didn't witness that scene personally will always be as... According to Monsieur Neuvillette, both child and that whale should have been in the primordial... the words of... I nearly lost my awesome friend Navia. To be honest, that still gives me shivers. The words of someone as extraordinary as a witch can probably only be truly understood when something surreal happens to you.
The prosecution and the defense are both in position. The trial shall now begin.
Oh, come on, just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. Of course, it is only natural for humans to...
That's true, but my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge you as a fraud who's never been the Archon in the first place.
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try the Hydro Archon.
Charge accepted. Lady Farina, do you plead guilty to the charge? Lady Farina.
I plead not guilty. How can I be guilty? There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine, could be anything other than your true Archon.
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be rather
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either. Sure, Lady Farina...
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since they were born. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. Are you sure you want to commit to a charge that will never be upheld? If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice that you will not have to face trial for making a false accusation.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claims, but also overturn the long-held beliefs of the people.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. If you must persist, and if I was not the Archon, then how did I manage to live for over 500 years?
That doesn't sound right. First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow you to naturally possess...
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave? You'd sink so low as to use a harbinger's words against me.
A curse? I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim, perhaps what I sensed was not your divinity, but a curse after all.
You sensed it too, huh, Neuvillette?
Lady Farina is actually...
Well, it is true that it's extremely difficult to tell human...
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Even if I have... Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and a god is the possession of authority. Gods can do what humans cannot. That's why they're worshipped as gods. For centuries, manifestations of my authority have served the nation of Fontaine. One need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal in this very opera house, or consider the indemnitium that is used in every aspect of life.
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all the rest of us?
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decisions of the gods are naturally difficult for humans to comprehend.
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges.
I never thought you'd use that kind of rhetoric against me.
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty, nor did you understand the structure and operations of the Oratrice. Instead of having been created by you, the manifestations of authority you mentioned have been made by the real Hydro Archon, haven't they?
The real Hydro Archon? Well, now you're really losing me. It is true that I did not know why the Oratrice gave out a guilty verdict that day. But the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. You can't argue that just because a divine creation is...
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that we won't be able to produce proof that she has no power over the Oratrice.
My power as an Archon. There are many ordinary citizens in the audience. How can I just carelessly demonstrate the firm...
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or is it that you can't even wield the power of Hydro, much less the authority of a god?
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons derive. Thus did I give up all of my divine power to provide every...
Isn't that a huge stretch?
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their power? Can a god...
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's excuse.
Hey, come now, everyone. Please don't stare at me as if I was a liar. I'm still the same Farina you knew, right? The one that you loved. Shouldn't you want to believe in me? Please? You've got to believe me.
If what the prosecutor said is true, she...
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and grandparents too? And then all of...
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if I'm not the real Hydro Archon, then who is? If you have no evidence of another Hydro Archon's existence, nor can you find anyone who can back up their claim to be such, then what grounds have you to say that I'm not actually the real deal?
Wow, she came up with yet another argument. How can we refute her now? That doesn't sound... that doesn't sound right. It has been established that all Fontaine Arcanians can dissolve in water from the...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use right here and now to eliminate all suspicions of you being the latter.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor...
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson. As everyone knows, a massive flood struck the area not long ago, taking many lives, including those of some of my closest friends. So, Miss Farina, would you dare to touch some of this seawater? If we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydro Archon, touching this seawater would have no effect on you. All it should do is strengthen your case. But if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after the disaster at Poisson, nobody wants to see any more people dissolve. I do hope you'll act prudently and choose the simpler path of admitting guilt.
Navia from the Spina di Rasula. The Spina has governed Poisson for many years. I guess her suggestion is valid.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human, she's probably a Fontanian like all the rest of us. Would she really dare to try?
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell her that. But refusing to participate is basically the same as a confession of guilt.
She's just staring at the water without saying a single word. It really does seem like she's quite terrified.
What's going on? Is she really planning to... That's not what we thought she would...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! My hand is still here! I haven't been dissolved! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon! I'm nothing like a normal human who would fall apart as soon as they touch this water! Really? Was this not the most obvious thing in the world?
Miss Siegewin? If you're present, Miss Siegewin, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siegewin?
Don't be nervous. It'll just take a few seconds. Let me see. That should be enough.
Please announce the results of your evaluation to the court, Miss Siegewin.
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was displaying symptoms of hyperventilation and flushed skin. She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater. The extent to which she was affected is the same as other humans when exposed to primordial seawater of a similar concentration.
Thank you, Miss Siegewin. Lady Farina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say? I didn't get dissolved! Shouldn't that be enough to prove my innocence?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your problems, we did... However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated. We don't want anyone else to lose their life to the sea.
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured a It's a great thing that the direct sample wasn't actually...
I can't believe... You... Listen to me, everyone! Please don't think about it! How can you conclusively prove that an Archon can't also be affected by the primordial seawater? Also, if I was really just a human, why would I dare to just put my hand in that kind of water? Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me! I swear, I really am your Archon!
don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. The odds are just too stacked against her now.
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's any way left for Furina to win.
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway anyone. She's too stacked against her now.
In my capacity as Chief Justice, I shall now render judgment on Furina's misrepresentation of herself as the Archon of Fontaine. As a human who knowingly deceived her fellow citizens, Furina is guilty. We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Furina is...
Well, what's wrong? What's the Oratrice's verdict?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct then?
However, the exact wording of the verdict is thus: to be punished via the death sentence.
The death sentence?
That's actually one of the available sentences? I've always thought that it was just a myth.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court, and it's been given to the very person we've worshipped as the god of justice?
Furina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice? We just wanted...
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current... Is this sentence really appropriate for the crimes that have been committed?
Yeah! Even Maché wasn't sentenced to death by the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial disappearances case.
Indeed. Not only is Furina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Furina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first... But now, the Oratrice seems to have deliberately invoked the title of the Hydro Archon. What does this mean?
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still going?
Fremine! Oh, you finally made it. I assume this means you've completed your mission?
Mm-hmm. Any mission Father assigns...
Is that the first prophecy slate? Huh. So the knave privately arranged for Fremine to try and find the missing slate.
I looked everywhere and finally found it at the bottom of the sea. It took me a long time to get around some dangerous stretches of water. But has the trial already concluded? Then... doesn't that mean I've come too late?
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me to review the record left on the slate. Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slates, and would like you to...
Huh? So what do you see? What is it?
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Furina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon. So when you say Hydro Archon, do you mean the real Hydro Archon we've been kinda talking about?
In truth, Everything that you've encountered in Fontaine up until this point can be traced back to the contents of these stone slates. However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents of the other 3 stone... The first stone slate describes what you just said. It seems to show the previous Hydro Archon using her divine power, and then the Oceanids turn into humans. Does that mean that Fontainians are transformed Oceanids? Oh, Paimon wasn't expecting that. But if Oceanids... The second stone slate shows Celestia floating in the sky, and the Hydro Archon and her people were... This must be the point when the Hydro Archon and the Fontainians were branded with their... The third slate shows the Hydro Archon sinking into the sea surrounded by many people. That reminds Paimon, didn't we also watch that happen to someone else? Well, the fourth slate is the prophecy the Fontainians have been talking about. We didn't believe that such a crazy disaster could happen at first.
We know from the case of the serial disappearances of young women and the first stone slate tells us that long ago, this might be the reason that Fontainians can dissolve.
Quite right. That doesn't sound quite right.
Perhaps what is about to take place has all happened before. The true sin of the Hydro Archon that Nervalette mentioned, and the original sin cast down on the people of Fontaine. It's not as simple as falling into the sea. When Navia fell into the sea, her consciousness was subjected to judgment. The stone slates show the people gathered around the Hydro Archon in the sea. The prophecy from the stone slates found its way into society. The fortress of Meropide was nearly flooded with primordial seawater, which we know can cause Fontainians to dissolve if we hadn't dealt with it in time.
They'll dissolve into the primordial sea but won't cease to exist. Their essence will flow in the seawater, converge, and take the form of an Oceanid. The Hydro Archon was sentenced to death in court, shocking everyone present. Perhaps this means that her sin was actually Fontaine's original sin. Navia fell into the water inside those ruins, and she nearly dissolved. She was surrounded by the people of Poisson in a court within her consciousness. The eruption of the primordial sea at the fortress of Meropide was the surest sign that the prophecy was about to come to pass no matter what. The prophecy's contents can all be verified by recent events. It now, but then it feels like...
Let's hear them.
Incredible. Linny, did you hear that?
We're not real humans.
All Fontanians were originally created by the late previous Hydro Archon, with Oceanids as their basis. The evidence for that can be found in how only Fontanians could dissolve in primordial seawater. And how all the girls Vacher dissolved were also turned into Oceanids. Oh, and according to Navia, when she was about to get dissolved, she also saw everyone gathered around for a trial. All of them in the shape of Oceanids.
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slate that she probably angered Celestia by creating humans without prior permission. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro Archon.
The Hydro Archon's true sin was creating us?
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the Opera Epiclese.
Yeah, isn't the image here just like... So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been fulfilled in the fourth slate? In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters. And all... Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, however, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, they've also been etched within a... When we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the... Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another attempt to decipher the...
Well? Did you get it?
I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with all the people of Fontaine as well. I will try to... Your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontanians and the sin of the Hydro Archon were both correct. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves, expressed to the Hydro Archon their desire to become of a similar kind. However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as one of the seven, did not possess the authority to create a new form of human life. Not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars by appropriating the power of this planet's primordial sea. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids' blood vessels, creating humanoid mimics in the process. But if Fontanians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. As a result, their forms would collapse, and they would be reverted to their original forms as Oceanids. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true history of how the people of Fontaine first came into being.
So you...
That's way too much information for me. I think I'm just going to pretend that I never heard a single thing. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be sentenced to death. After all...
This really might be too much information for your regular Fontanian.
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the third and fourth stone slates was inaccurate. The slate's respective positions are, in fact. A key point of the visual on the third slate is how all the individuals depicted in the water are humans. They have not been dissolved, which implies that the water depicted in this slate is not water from the primordial. The nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials and Justice. Instead, you may also recall Navia's experience. When she fell into the sea, her consciousness was surrounded by that of many others who intended to hold a trial to determine her fate. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the Court of Justice. Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, what you're saying is, even in truth, everything we've done has happened exactly as the prophecy foretold.
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what, the prophecy will be fulfilled.
If that's the case, does that mean the scene in the fourth slate will also be fulfilled soon?
Traveler, I would like to point out another small fallacy in your deductions. About the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordial seawater beneath the fortress of Meripede. However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe, I believe you've already encountered it once before. This eruption was just a small warning of the things to come. We must find the root cause of the disaster.
It was both dream.
If we're talking about a true culprit, that could only be that thing inside the primordial sea, right?
The truth, the original sin, the trial, and the root cause of the disaster.
That was way too close! How did that thing just burst into the Opera House? Wait, was that the huge whale you saw in your dream?
So we've met it at last. I understand very well why it has chosen to make an appearance here. That whale does not belong to Tevat. It is a monster that has traversed the stars. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea. And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontanians out of Oceanids, she...
Precisely. That whale finds the blood of Fontanians nigh impossible to resist. Therefore, when it left the Primordial Sea, it decided to make its next stop a packed opera house full of food. Food in the form of Fontanians.
We just barely managed to push it back, right? In that case...
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting the creature for quite a long time.
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with that whale, but anyway, now that we know that this whale is the actual cause of the disaster recorded...
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the Primordial Sea's energy before we could notice it. Even if the entirety of Teyvat were to be destroyed, it could still survive and swim off towards some other world.
That's not something I will accept. We've already done everything we can, and we even found the true culprit. We've come so far. You can't just tell me that the last hurdle is some impossible foe.
Indeed. That's not how a grand performance should end.
I'll fight it to the end. No matter what.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy. Yes, what has been prophesied will be fulfilled. Just as prophecies are usually only the future as seen from the perspectives of the gods, could things be happening in hidden corners where the gods' gaze does not fall? Ultimately, fate shall serve as your only guide, no matter what will happen in Teyvat's...
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina! No, I still need answers.
You...
Sorry. That shocked expression on your face is just too amusing. I couldn't help myself.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous. A sure sign that my attempt to deceive everyone was a resounding success. But to answer your question, I am Focalor. You know.
Focalor? Why did you deceive us?
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. But I had to fool everyone else too, if I was to stand any the heavenly principles.
Deceiving the heavenly principles?
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. Fontaine condemned to be flooded. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor.
She knew full well that the prophecy would surely come to pass, and as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly principles at one's peril. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather impossible situation that I found myself in. I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. And I had to outwit the heavenly principles, allow the prophecy to be fulfilled, ostensibly at least. Well, I'm a genius, I know. I can only assume that's why Egeria chose me as her successor. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation, the quotidian duties of the Hydro Archon. But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this, any more than I chose to be one of her Oceanid familiars.
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by Egeria's hand?
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, to be human is to be part of the greatest opera ever known. After becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive. The me you see before you now is that divinity. And the human counterpart I left behind, I named Farina. She could feel joy, sorrow, and everything in between. She could be as vain and conceited, or as meek and vulnerable as she wished. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess, as were her shortcomings. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person I always wanted to be. Anyway, so then I cursed her. All part of the plan, of course. The plan to deceive the heavenly principles. Do you still remember the final scene of the prophecy? The Hydra Archon alone, weeping on her throne. In order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, I invited Farina to be an actress, to play the part of the Hydro Archon in the prophecy, under the curse I placed on her. So long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she free to live her life in the pursuit of happiness. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house, to embrace the role of leading lady, to forever play the part of the god from the prophecy. I suppose now you probably understand why your court is called the Opera Epiclese.
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is no stronger than that of any other ordinary human being. I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have been torture for her.
It has indeed. And although she is, in a sense, me in human form, I most definitely owe her an apology for it. It's been 500 years, and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely, and agonizingly painful opera of all time.
Oh, who permitted you to come onto this stage? Now, I understand your admiration for my august... All right. It is not my intent to reprimand you. There is no need to state your name. Just be off with you. Do not distract me from my performance. Oh, do not jest. Can you not feel it? I am Focalor. The eyes of countless Fontanians are upon me. I must, at all times, display the utmost elegance and... Dear audience, the performance is experiencing a technical difficulty, but worry not. The guards shall resolve it soon enough.
Inazuma shines eternal!
Stabilize! Silence!
Hey, what gives? The audience is still watching me, you know. Guards? Wait, where are the guards? Guards!
Farina.
Huh? Who's that? Who's calling me? Where are you?
Be not nervous. Be not afraid. I am before you.
Wait a moment. You're... mirror me? How can this be?
Mirror you, huh?
Mirror me? What?
The prophecy. Have you heard of it?
What prophecy? Wait. The people will all be dissolved into the waters. And...
Oh. Very good.
What's going on? I can't seem to remember.
Yes, it will. And that is...
But doesn't that mean everyone will die?
Oh, don't worry. Magical meetings exist in this world I will tell you how to save everyone, but you may have to
Oh, so there's still hope after all. As for the suffering, well, I will admit that but if the prophecy will come true, I'll also die anyway, right? So if there were scales, with all the people of Fontaine on one side...
You truly are the perfect human. My ideal. I suppose this would also be the justice that belongs to you.
Huh?
Don't worry, it's nothing. Listen well. Fontaine has just lost its Hydro Archon.
Play as... a god?
That's right. You must begin a never-ending masquerade. If you can keep it up, then I shall have my way of defying this prophecy.
But how will I do this? A human
Don't worry. What you must do is not to turn yourself into a real being a human yourself. I'm sure you already know. Remember, your true challenge will not be pursue.
I'm still not sure I understand, but so how long am I going to have to play this?
To accomplish this mission, you will have to stay on the stage, but I promise you.
A trial, huh? The Maison Cardinalise has a... What should I say to most appear like a god? Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and welcome to the... I'm sure you've all heard about how I have taken on the role of Hydro Archon. Indeed, I am Verena de Fontaine, your new Archon. In truth, I know little about becoming a nation's new god, but it will be my honor to guide you all. As the god Focalor, the god of justice, I shall do... Once again, thank you all for coming. If you should have any questions, this should do it. I thought I might stammer, but thankfully, I was able...
That's the new Hydro Archon. Is this some kind of joke by the Maison? I would have thought that a being that surpasses humanity would be a bit more...
Hey, did you hear that? She even told us to send her suggestions.
Shouldn't gods be all-powerful? She's being so modest. What's the difference between her and an ordinary person, then?
If you ask me, perhaps the succession didn't actually happen. She might just be a Maison.
Wait, what's going on? Why is everyone suspecting me of being... Right. Mirmi said that I just need to play... Calm down, Verena. Think, assertive, with a strong sense of presence. One who can just... Oh, very good, my people. Only ones such as you are deserving of my rule. Now, I was wondering if some weak puppet were to what... Well, it seems that you would all see right through them. Having passed my test, you may consider my previous act a door gift of sorts. Now then, let us be reintroduced.
Ah, so that was just a performance. How could I have forgotten that we were in...
Personality? It's quite shocking, to be honest, but I suppose it's a better look than before.
Such a fascinating and bold deity. How wonderful! Our future may yet be bright after all.
It seems I've turned them around. Best follow this flow and restart my accession speech. My dear people, whether you acknowledge me or not, whether you trust me or nay, I say to you, keep faith in your... We have heard it said that this nation's sins can no longer be washed away. Well, I say that justice is most fragrant when it blooms amid sin. The scales of justice should not weigh heavy in the hands of its God. May law be the prayer on our lips. May judgment be our worship. Let us light the fires and drink to the future of Fontaine. There is no trouble in this world that justice can... So long as I, the Archon Focalor, stand within the Opera Epiclese.
Lady Farina, here are today's case reports, as well as a summary of the follow-up for your perusal.
Come now. Was I not just... Besides, none of these trials...
If I may be so impertinent...
A magnificent, dramatic, and...
That's true, I fear...
No need for fright, and do not take what I said before too seriously. Go now. Do your duties. The trial...
Lady Farina, I don't know what to say. Thank you for agreeing.
No need to thank me. Or rather, thank your own sense of Oh, I'm afraid that's just... All right. Deoteria, is it?
You remembered? He is doing much better now. In fact, he is far more...
Oh, good. Very good. If this should happen again in the...
You're such a gentle...
Lady Farina, here are the latest hydrological reports. As for the specific...
I see. It's as I thought, then. All manner of signs indicate that the prophecy will still come to pass.
Well, as I understand it, the Fontaine Research Institute is all...
Really? Have they found anything?
I'm afraid that they haven't...
Oh, is that so? The day is finally over. But it's good to see that everything's getting on. Maybe this is fine. I just need to keep going. All right, Farina, don't think too hard about this.
Lady Farina, here are the new trial reports for the latest cases, as well as...
There'll be no need for that. I've seen them already.
Lady Farina, I've waited so...
Indeed, my dear. Look...
Lady Farina, we're detecting significant hydrological...
Understood. Keep monitoring. I don't think I feel utterly exhausted.
Lady Farina, I've heard that the first member of our family who was honored to receive an audience...
And what a fine family yours is. What is it, good citizen?
Are you crying?
Oh, really now? I didn't even notice. This must be the overflow of hydro from my person. Well, can't quite help being the god whose dominion is the waters.
No wonder. No wonder. A manifestation of your power, then. Oh, Archon, I am honored to have witnessed it.
So interminable. Hundreds of years must have passed by now. I never imagined. Have I
reached. I want to tell someone. I have conducted so many investigations. All I can do is keep heart. I must...
Farina, you don't have to shoulder this burden alone. Although I don't know what you might be keeping from everyone. Your people...
Share my burden. That's impossible. It was fated right—
But even if your burden doesn't need to be shared, just share it with me.
A witness. Yes, I've heard that you came to and if Tevat is in its entirety. If that's the case, he's right. I could confide in him, couldn't, but if things don't play out as no, Farina, you But what if, Farina, you've worked so hard. Is it such an outrageous thing to do anyway? If you let this opportunity, think about it. Long and hard. No, I have nothing to say. I am Farina, the Archon of Fontaine. All you need to do, dear spectator, is to witness my performance until the curtains fall.
Fine.
So even Farina doesn't know the truth?
Yes, it had to be done. She did very well. If she had let her resolve fault, it seems that trusting...
I believe that I understand how your deception works, but that is only half the truth. How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine?
Ah, good, good. Of course, the Iudex of Fontaine has pinpointed the crux of the issue. I'm sure you've long sensed that the Oratrice is no simple machine.
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human... It now seems that that person was you.
And then I became one with the Oratrice, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, it would seem so. Alas, your understanding of this device... In truth, it is no enactor of justice. Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the Oratrice take down the god of justice, it will also... I mean... Did you think my work over these last 500 years? But really, some have already discovered that only a small the vast majority had to be, accumulated.
It was all a part of your plan, then?
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it but... Only power of this magnitude could hope to destroy...
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina nor Focalor. The destruction of that divine throne.
Returning what's rightfully yours to you, of course. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
But...
Oh, what? Getting sad again, are we? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more, O Hydro Dragon Sovereign.
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice yourself at the very...
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Even now, I'm quite pleased at how well my deception worked. Hydro Dragon, don't cry. I must say, had it been within my rights, I would have loved to judge the heavenly principles that Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. And the heavenly principle, I, for my part, am the god of justice. Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice lies in the process of pursuing. So, if the theft of the primordial sea's might was Fontaine's original sin, then, leaving matters of procedural right and wrong aside, the descent. In other words, existence was Egeria's justice, and to me, justice is defying the prophecy and ensuring that Fontaine's. At this point, we, whether Iudex Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land.
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve as Iudex, at last, I now understand the true purpose behind this position. In the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of... You are a devious one, Fossil. Things being as they are. Surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Iudex Neuvillette, hereby declare, people of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What just happened?
Was that bright light some...
But since we're all still...
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that.
But, didn't you say just a moment ago?
I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. We should seize the opportunity to pursue our quarry. Traveler, now that the oratories can no longer function, the root of the calamities befalling Fontaine, the beast that enacts the prophecy. Come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come. Find a way to attack it from within. I shall share a part of the ancient Archon's power with you. We shall look for an opening. I can feel its sorrow turning into hostility.
Solidify!
Silence!
Bow your head.
The all-devouring narwhal cannot resist its instinct to devour. Continue to trigger its hostility. Chance will present itself. Protection. Do not fear. Seize the moment and use my power to suppress its roots from within.
Let the mighty be humbled.
Settle down!
There is no escape! Thanks for helping with the cleanup. It should have been my job, but... oh well. It was just supposed to be a short private training session for me. I didn't think that my disciple and my master's pet would start brawling in the meantime. Well, actually, I had a feeling that it would happen at some point, but they bumped into one another earlier than I thought. What a blunder. I suppose I'll have to swing my sword 3 million times as penance.
That power. Who are you exactly?
Paimon has an what she said earlier, she must be Child's master. Skirk, right? It's just that he gave us the impression that she was the less talkative person.
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you, on the other hand, managed to defeat the all-devout, so you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial waters just to... That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more important things to do with my time than pet sitting. The only thing that creature has going for it is its... All in all, it fails as a pet.
Miss Skirk? I think you might...
The point being?
Well, being that this pet almost destroyed an entire nation. So what sort of person is your master? Well, Child's master's master.
Oh, right. So you don't know him. Sorry, I assumed you did. His name is Sir Taloji.
Huh?
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous. How should I describe him then?
The Foul?
Still nothing? Well, how about the Visionary? Vetterfulnir then? Or Gold Rhine?
Ooh, that one we've heard! Rhine part of the Hexen Circle. She's Albedo's mom, right?
Oh, so you do know that name. To be honest, I also heard all of those names, but I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is likely a similar sort to Rhine. They are both pursuing some form of perfection.
Wait! Didn't you also mention a visionary person? Paimon didn't quite catch their name.
Actually, never mind that. I believe it expedient to inform you that the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its strength fighting you. Such roiling hydro energies will prove difficult for the planet's deep seas to digest. As such, the fontaine back on the surface has most likely been thrown into chaos. In other words, the prophecy that you've been fretting over should now be in full swing.
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the Heavenly Principle.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
All hands, initiate emergency rescue!
Hurry!
Hey, lend a hand!
Look! water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
The prophecy was wrong.
The soil renewed. The Sweet Rasula talks. Old soil can still give birth to new bloom, Miss Navia Skyship Winglet, lunar brain of the Fontaine Research Institute. The various disputes that have arisen on account of Mr. People always call the first... Wow! Paimon barely recognizes the people in the reports. Are those really Jury?
What do you think? Pretty enthralling, huh? The Steambird's idea was pretty simple. With the disaster just having passed, we would print a free edition packed to the margins with good news to calm people down. The value for these big scoops lies in their inevitable follow-ups. We'll publish further reports and go into this. Edwin's assistant, Jurier, created a true flying ship, while Navia...
Paimon's curious too!
And that's exactly why I'd like you...
Are you sure?
Oh, this time we'll be...